footage.
Well, hello! Once again, you have found a Texas Steampunk Connection, broadcasting to you throughout the multiverse Steamverse from our various bunkers and airships. With me, as always, is Thax, Gentleman Adventurer.
Hello, hello.
With me, Ms. Jax from Steam Chest.
Hello.
And we have with us today, Master Blue Stocking from Steampunk Dollhouse Podcast. So once again, we are here to talk, probably about steampunk, most likely, because that's what this is about. Thank you for listening.
That's weird. That's the second time that is cut off early. I checked the
Facebook is onto us to begin
video
with.
previously, and it's not. I don't know why it's cutting off there.
That's weird.
Oh well. I'll have to poke it with a stick sometime later and just figure out.
Just fiddle with buttons.
I guess. Welcome to the Texas Steampunk Connection, everybody. We're already joined by Mick, Kitty, and Rita. Hey, you guys! Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday evening. How's everybody doing? We have been talking about the weather because it's always the topic of conversation here in Texas.
I mean, yeah.
It's not boring like it is in other places.
You know what, though? I wouldn't mind that.
It's like when I was living up in Maryland, it was funny because if a thunderstorm happened, like, oh my gosh, did you hear that one clap of thunder we had that was very uninspiring for what I would consider from, actual thunder. And if the rain doesn't fall immediately straight down, like, I know he's up in that area, but the people I talked to in Maryland, in Owings Mills, were always like, oh my God, the rain's not falling straight down. But, yeah. However, I do understand the fact that y'all's seasons go in a very set format. You have Easter as a season. But that's after the glaciers have receded. Then it's Easter all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And this is August because there's still ice in the middle of August. I don't know. That was the weirdest year that I was up there, but it was fun.
Yeah, there's something to be said for continuity with your seasons. That's the only thing I miss about Pennsylvania was the. Yeah. At least I knew it was
kind of like being waterboarded, stuck in a room, having the lights come on and off at random times. It's like being interrogated.
But hey, we needed the rain, so.
Oh, we got it. Oh, we
got it.
Our lake's going to be fantastic.
Actually, the local weather guy posted something about that. Some of the lakes are back up where they should be, but some of them are going to need a hell of a lot more rain before they get back up. So yeah, some of them are up, but it's been so bad. I mean, we had sprinkles here over the last few months, but not like this. Not like we've had the last 4 or 5 days. So.
Somebody posted on social media today that Lake Travis, it hasn't moved. It's still the same level as it was before the rain. So I don't know how that works. I don't have a clue. But your cable, your internet went out for a few hours today?
Yeah, apparently Frontier in the entirety of Denton just was gone because Matt messaged me when I was out working, and he said that because my sister-in-law lives next door, and both of our houses were out, and so I was trying to do the chat with Frontier, which was pointless and useless. But yeah, I started poking around, and then my best friend who lives about 20 minutes away at the other end of Denton, and she came on. She's like, I got home and I have no internet. I'm like, yeah, nobody in Denton does. It's just gone for all of us.
Was that because of the raining? And
they didn't say.
No telling. Okay.
Probably it could have been. Like I said, it's been wild here, but I haven't heard about any catastrophic flooding, and we never lost power or anything like that. So but Frontier's not usually too bad. We've had it for 4 years, and it's usually pretty good. So I don't know.
They got you back up pretty quick. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's been a week.
It was scary not being able to text you on a hard line for 3 hours. we had to go on that buggy
know.
buggy wireless cellular thing.
It's terrible.
We could have missed a packet or three.
Well, it's all good. It's all okay.
Anything else happened last 2 weeks? Oh, I guess Rita and Lawrence are tuned in, so I hope you guys haven't had any emergencies. You're up near the Dallas area, but you guys doing all right? They'll respond quickly.
They'll respond. We'll talk about it when they respond. Yes. We just sit here waiting patiently to make sure they actually, text something back.
Anything else going on? Plano got very little rain. Oh, well.
Wow.
It's all right because it rained north of you. And if I know anything about maps, rain always will slide down.
My God.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank
That's
you.
exactly how that works.
Well, I've already talked plenty about my last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Long story short, my best friend of 14 years passed away on Friday. My baby boy. So
I'm sorry.
Well,
That's really rough.
It would have been better if the vet hadn't given us so much hope and then 12 hours later, but it is what it is. So
I understand that. We had that with our last puppy.
Yeah, we're dealing with it. And Brax is finally starting to cotton on to the fact that his buddy's gone. Gigi hated Brax, but Brax really wanted to love Gigi and take care of him. And so he's been laying down by the empty carrier in the living room. Yeah.
To be clear, Gigi is a cat.
Gigi was my little baby boy. He is a black cat. I had him for 14 years. I got him when he was 5 weeks old in Pennsylvania. And yeah, he was with me. Brax we got 2 years later. And, they lived mostly separate lives. They didn't really, but it's been weird. It's, you don't realize how many things that they're involved in your life until, so we're dealing with the holes, but that's why it's a red wine week. We're back on the red wine. Okay. Yeah, we're back on the red wine for a while. Got the apothic.
What type of red wine are you drinking?
That would be the apothic, what I always drink.
Of course. We're back. It's that season again.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer death and have to drink something else.
Yeah.
Something ice cold.
How's everyone else's last 2 weeks been?
Well, my child tried to split his head open.
Oh, wait, is that new or didn't that happen?
Well, I guess it's 3 weeks now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, again?
Yeah, taking after his old man. No, we got the stitches off, and it looks really nice. And so it's going to heal perfectly. I don't think we're ever going to see it again after like a year. So
good.
But I got the wonderful gory pictures to remind myself of a terrible moment as a parent.
Hey, it happens.
It looks worse than it is. I cracked my head open so many times.
Head wounds always look terrible. Yeah. You're okay. Yeah, I stabbed myself in the back of the leg with a garden stake when I was a kid. It was when the Winter Olympics had been on, and I was trying to ski down my slide.
Oh, press the underslide.
It just went right into my leg.
Oh.
My mom was a nursing student at the time, so she took care. She butterflied it. Yeah.
It's like tetanus shots and butterflying it.
Yeah. And then, the scar finally went away after, I don't know, 20 years, but yeah. And I lied too. I went in the house. I'm like, I cut it on a rock because I didn't want to get in trouble. And my dad was like, well, where's the rock so I can move it? I'm like, I threw it out into the field. When I talked to my mom about it later, she was like, we knew you were lying. We found the blood on the stake.
Jesus.
Well, I was like, I don't know, Winter Olympics 80. So I would have been 4, maybe. I don't know. Whenever the Winter Olympics were, but yeah. So yeah. The bad decisions we make.
My brother still has a big scar across his forehead from when he was 4. He grabbed the side of it was a glass tabletop in my dad's office. And it was right when they just got done opening the office. They hadn't moved the bottom of the glass inset into like a wire frame. So he just had it setting on 2 I can't come up with a word for it. Like file folder cabinets, the ones with only the 2 drawers. And his balloon went under there. He grabs the edge of it, like leans under, and it just slides back and like pins his head to the wall.
Oh,
And yeah, he's fine.
damn. Yeah, walk it off.
Yeah,
Rub some dirt in it. Walk it off.
head wounds bleed a lot. It's fine, but I mean, it was a nice sized scar. It wasn't like the little tiny one my kid. Well, the little tiny one it will be, or the little one I got last within the current pandemic. The head wounds seem to be part of the season lately. We have to be more careful.
Duly noted.
And Dax got hit about the same time I did. It was like within a month. Your head wound, wasn't it?
Oh,
What'd you do?
Well, that was
Remember?
my last head wound was a year ago.
My last head.
2 years ago.
It's 2 years now.
Good Lord, 2 years ago. I've been in that build a long time. Okay.
Oh.
Welcome to 2 years into your 2-week pandemic.
I was out behind my house in a creek, and there was a slippery spot in the limestone. My feet just slipped out from under me. I, went straight back, landed on the back of my head. I was very concussed, and gore was raining out. All the good things. Erica took me to the. First, she took me to that minor emergency center rather than the actual emergency room, and they looked at it and said, "Oh no, we can't do that."
Whoa, really?
Wow.
You're gonna have to go up the street.
Damn.
See, mine was like my emergency care was like, yeah, we can use the glue on you. And so, mine was a blunt force contusion versus a cut.
A limestone rock.
So yeah, it was like being hit in the head I was hitting the head with a post.
God.
And so yeah, that was fun. But yeah, so
Jack, what you drinking?
oh, I am drinking a bit of this 1835. It is the cinnamon whiskey. Cinnamon Whiskin.
You're almost done.
And how much have you had?
I mean, it's almost gone. Of course, I've had this bottle for a year now, so yeah, we're down to like just the little dragged bits. It's kind of sad. I liked it.
And
what do you got, Thax?
I have Mighty Swell Tiger's Blood Spiked Seltzer. I have not found a seltzer that I have enjoyed yet, but Erica brought these home, and I figured I'll give it a shot.
If you don't like it, you just hand it to her.
Wait, is this the first time you haven't tried it yet?
Nope, haven't tried it yet.
I'm glad we're recording.
That's why this is a great show.
Yeah, I'm glad we're recording this. Go ahead.
Doing it live.
Well, it didn't come back out.
It tastes like cough syrup, kind of the cherry flavor.
Is that good or bad?
I don't think that's a good one. I don't think he likes cherry
No,
flavor.
there's the the face is curling up.
Look at his
Every one of these seltzers
Beard is
has sort of
twisting.
this.
Mustache is curling up.
Every one of these seltzers kind of has this bitter
That's why I don't like them.
undertone that is just.
You
I
gotta
was thinking
find
the other day.
It just
that
kinda
don't
sticks on
have
your
that
tongue.
bitter undertone.
You guys
Yeah.
remember Zima?
Yes, I was
Yes.
yes. I started drinking.
all
it
the
I
hate.
remember.
For all the hate you've ever heard of Zima, it's better than any seltzer,
I liked
hard
it.
seltzer that I've had. Bring back Zima and ditch these hard seltzers. I don't understand. The dogs agree. They agree.
I don't have any with me tonight, but I do have to tell you at Harvest House, they have, and I'm trying to find it. I think it's the Denton County Brewing Company has a London Fog beer. It is like Earl Grey tea in beer. You got the bergamot and all. Oh my god, it is so good. And they were out. They were out when I went today. But yeah, it is. Yes, it is really, really good. Yeah.
So when we come up there in the future,
Well, I'm trying to find it. I'm going to ask them tomorrow. I was going to get some today, and then so I'm going to ask them tomorrow exactly where it came from and if I can get my hands on some because it was excellent. Yeah, I don't usually go for the
weird beers.
The weird beers like Thax does. But this one I couldn't resist. So
My
yeah,
HEB is just not as cool as his. I have to go to like the Bastrop HEB or something and find better stuff.
Oh yeah, out in Elgin, that doesn't surprise me.
But we have a Walmart that's half the size it needs to be. We have an HEB that's half the size it needs to be now. So they were trying to carry as much as they can of just the normal essentials. And you have to go to both stores because they've kind of gotten to this point where one will carry some things, the other one won't. So you have to go to both to get your shopping list done. And then we also have like a Pinky's Liquor, not Pinky's, Specs.
Specs. Okay.
Sorry, Pinky's is. I'll always forever think the box store for alcohol is that because Lubbock only had like those outside of town, but and it's got cool stuff in there, but not for prices you can pay for right now. And a lot of their stuff hasn't been able to be restocked with the weird stuff. So yeah, I can find here's another different type of gin. Why would I go for anything other than like Bombay Sapphire? But so yeah, we have some meads and things, but they think they're pretty expensive. So
meads get a little pricey.
They get real expensive. Yeah.
Like $14 for less than 10 ounces, and I'm like,
woo.
Yeah, they have some at Harvest House. They have a couple usually, and they're super expensive and really high percentage. Really high, like 19%.
Yeah, no,
they serve you like this
I bet
much.
they'd be excellent. It's just they're made back here, and I think they sell a lot of it at the like Sherwood
Forest Fair. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so they know they're going to have the demand whether or not it's sold locally at other stores, so they can kind of have a higher price. Because when you go to Sherwood Forest, you're going to have mead because unless you're going to carry a Bud Light around with you.
I mean, that would, And also, according to my husband, Elgin has the best barbecue sausage available. So.
Well, we got two major sausage places here because we can't just have one. We have Myers Barbecue and we have Southside, and both are award winning, and Southside is considered to be the superior barbecue place in town. I like both for different reasons. So, I'm going to probably get shot saying that in this town because it's you either like one or the other. It's so polarized here. Like
the sausage wars.
So the jalapeno cheddar one from Southside is far superior. That one is. However, if I want anything other than that, I like kind of the Myers take on a lot of their stuff. But yeah, it depends on it's weird having what shade of barbecue are you into today? It's like I'm just used to doing my own barbecue or going to the barbecue place. Not I have too many options now. I don't want to do any of it.
Too many barbecue options.
I have too many barbecue options. So spoiled.
Yeah, Myers distributes to the HEBs here in town, so I get their sausage quite often. It's real nice.
You also probably get Southside too. They both distribute.
Probably. It's funny because when I go through Elgin, I stop at Southside.
Yeah,
because it's right there.
It's the first thing you run into. Whoever thinks about going further into town for barbecue.
So you can't go wrong.
Nope. It's either side. If you're coming into Elgin, you're going to run into barbecue. If you're leaving Elgin, you're going to find more barbecue. So either way you go, you're good for barbecue.
Get you coming and going.
we like you basted and smoked, apparently.
Duly noted.
Oh, what happened?
And we have decent Mexican food too.
Turn it off.
It's a good Jalisco's is a good Mexican
I've
restaurant.
Lost my.
You okay, Thax?
What the heck?
Someone's beating him at his game.
Or did you sign everybody out?
Sorry.
Click, 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 click.
Sorry. Apparently, there's more than one way to mute a screen, and I picked the wrong way. All right, let's get into steampunk because that's what we're here for, I guess. I want to mention, starting out here, I've often mentioned the Steampunk Explorer website for checking out steampunk stuff in the past, and often we get our things we find through their newsletters. They have started a YouTube channel with just sort of episodes of the latest, kind of like us, interviews and event updates, but they're more scripted and maybe more professional than us. But definitely worth checking out.
We are so professional. We have subscribers. We also have Patreon people. Like you don't get any more professional than that. We are self-employed, right?
We are
here.
spontaneous and delightful.
And
Thank you.
sponsored. we have a business. Steam Chest sponsors us.
Really? Does that count as nepotism? I'm not really sure.
No, it does not, because that's how you do things. Jeez. When I came into this relationship with the original cast of this wonderful radio station, I was saying, I'm here to sell things. And they're like, cool. That was it.
He's a walking SpawnCon, and he's just here.
How often have I mentioned Steam Chest in the last year? Hardly ever. You know what? Other people mention it more than I do. And you know what? I'm on this. I'm now on my little soapbox. I'm finally getting it back together. It's about to leave. We have a box coming out again. So those of you who are interested, or those of you who are already paying me, it's coming. So
feel better now?
I'm good. I'm good now.
Let's get into the homework. What sort of steampunk
I'm trying to put it off.
are you bringing to our show? God help us.
Well, I'll start with mine. I'm gonna send the links over to y'all in the chat so y'all can post them, because I still have trouble. I can't post anything. So what I want to talk about is a little town that my husband found called Oamaru. I don't know if y'all have talked about this before. It is in New Zealand, and it is a steampunk place. Apparently, it's got a lot of Victorian architecture still extant in the town, and so it has become a great big steampunk gathering place. They've got 2 specific steampunk galleries, the Liberatory and the Steampunk HQ. And yeah, there's one of those links is for let's see. One of the links I sent y'all is for there's a video on YouTube. It's called Somewhere Street, Oamaru, New Zealand. And it's a 48-minute video that just shows you all about the town. But the architecture is gorgeous. The town is really interesting. And it's just Somewhere Street, it seems to be the specifically where a lot of the steampunks will congregate. But that's where the galleries are. I was watching the video earlier, and there's places where you can, rent the costumes and get your pictures taken. So that, and I didn't ask him where he found it, but yeah, if you read about it, there's so much going on, and it is. Oh yeah, in August 2016, it made it into the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest gathering of steampunks in the world. So it is super cool. Yeah, the Steampunk
HQ, okay.
Yeah, the Steampunk HQ. Yeah, and then the link that was next to it for the Liberatory, that's also a steampunk gallery.
Oh, it doesn't tell me nearly as much.
It doesn't tell you as much, but it's tantalizing. So yeah, like I said, there's a video, Somewhere Street, and you can find it on YouTube. And that goes through the town and shows you all the different sites. There's a dude on in about 20 minutes in, there's a dude with a penny farthing just kind of hanging out in the street. So
that's actually is this the place that won the Guinness Book of World Record for largest steampunk gathering?
They
paid for him.
Literally just said that like 2 minutes ago.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew that before. Apologies.
I've heard that someplace. I don't know.
I got also stuck on the fact they have a snowblower train. So I was like,
they have everything. It is awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like one day we should make a pilgrimage when we have enough money to go all the way
around the world.
We can hang out, do all the cool things for all the Lord of the Rings things, meet Stephen Colbert, because apparently he's there every other weekend, and Go to the steampunk thing.
Oh yeah, my husband just said there's a couple that he watches on YouTube that they're just sailing around the world, and apparently that's where he found out about it, because they're holed up someplace right now getting a new boat built. They're living our dream, what we want to do. You know,
I think a number of folks on YouTube were trying to live that dream, and mostly it's just how to repair my boat videos.
Welcome to owning a boat.
Well, these people apparently have
money into
quite a bit of money because they're getting a brand new one built. So that's where they're holed up, I guess, in New Zealand for a while.
I guess YouTube's paying the bills. Good for them.
I mean, yeah, people like, my husband loves them. He just keeps watching that stuff. So, so yeah, that's how we found out about it. And I don't know. It looks like fun,
Once you get the satellite dish from Elon Musk, you could live stream the entire time.
Musk.
Yeah, it turns out he's buying a house. My coworker is selling her property, and apparently the president of the Boring Company is purchasing the house. And it turns out, guess who the president of the Boring Company is?
Oh, yeah.
So Elon Musk is literally buying my coworker who works like 5 feet from me's house.
I'm just saying, some people are born to be supervillains, and with a name like that,
Elon Musk. Yeah.
I hope she's soaking him for all he's worth.
Oh yeah,
for all the house is worth anyway.
I mean, yeah, she's selling all the property and everything. They're making a good profit on it.
Nice.
And so yeah. But their plan is they're buying all the land around it too. So they're making a complex for everybody for the Boring Company. So basically,
okay, what's the company name?
The Boring Company. It's his company for boring holes in the ground for like making the underground subterranean train. They're also the ones that came up with the flamethrower because he has a sense of humor.
It's like, why are you calling it the Boring Company? Why is it boring? Okay.
Yeah. It's just because when you name a company around an idea and you wanted to also be cheeky about it, so then you can also make other products like the Boring Company's flamethrower. It just sounds utterly terrible and stupid and fun.
Who wants a boring old flamethrower?
It's just the boring flamethrower.
I want the exciting flamethrower.
Well, you got to come up with a company name exciting.
Spaceballs,
the lunchbox. Spaceballs, the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs, the flamethrower. Kids love these.
All right, well, that's my homework.
Very nice.
Awesome. I'm going to look more into
Yeah.
Omaru in the rest of the week. Just to see
I also had to watch the video to see how to pronounce it because I wasn't sure. The narration in the video, it's a little weird because it looks like the video's out of Japan, but it was dubbed with a bland, American English accent, and she's just like, and now we're on Somewhere Street. Look, there's people in Victorian attire. You're like, what is happening?
I bet that's how she thinks too. Look, that's just random, all right? That's just not something that happens every day, right?
Well, and like there's pauses, like when people are answering questions, there's like really weird pauses. So it's like maybe it was coming through a translator, and then it was all dubbed later with, the chipper lady. So that's a little disconcerting, but it's interesting to watch it. So yeah, someday maybe we'll take a pilgrimage, take Texas Steampunk to New Zealand.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
More people need to sign up for that Patreon.
Gosh, we would live stream often if we were there.
Yes,
For
constantly.
you, we would make sure you felt like you
all
were
the
there
time
with us.
All right. Well, who else has homework?
Let's see. I have homework. I did homework. I did. So,
are you ready to present the homework, or do you need a minute?
Did the dog eat your homework?
Well, this is new to me. It's not new to the internet or anybody, apparently. But because I was looking at it going, I have not heard of this, but I want to read these books. And so, what? Man, I'm really being... All right, let's see here if I can... no!
Uh-oh.
Here we are. No, we're good. I got moving around. So I was clicking around, and I'm like, I want some more books because I am going to start building my Christmas list of like things I want to get to read. And I ran across Cherry Priest, which anybody who's read, yeah. So you're already, I can tell you already making noises, but I didn't know she was already like four books ish, at least.
The Clockwork Century series, there's like 6, I think.
Yeah, well, I just realized when I was looking at this thing, it says December 28th, 2012.
Yep.
So I'm a little behind.
I presented a paper on the first book.
So
yeah.
Maybe I'm not the one to talk about it then.
No. Have you read any of them?
We have a conversation.
No, have you read any of them?
I have not.
Okay.
Because I want to look for like complete series, because if I like the first book, I will buy out the rest of them. That's how I work. I can't. Yes. I'm already waiting for Harry Dresden to do his one book every 3 years to 5 years to whenever he feels like writing one now, to the point where I can't wait. I got to like go back every couple of months or years and reread all those again.
I know.
I even hear he's coming out with another one. And if he does, and I don't have time to read the whole series beforehand, I'm going to be pissed. I'll be behind. That's how it works. Anyway, so I'm looking at this. It looks really cool. Of course, this one's talking about the 4th book, so it doesn't go into any like major like plot lines or anything. But the author of this article does say that it moves faster than some of the previous books, because she doesn't have to rebuild the world for you to understand it. It's you know what she's talking about. You know what the characters are doing. All the characters. It's kind of like the characters are living multiple different. There's no like big overarching, must take the ring to Mordor plot, but all the characters are slowly like piecing together. Kind of, it's starting to sound kind of like Man in the High Castle in its own right. There's like a big thing going on like way in the distance, and there's like these little puzzle pieces that you're going to pick up on, but they have no clue what they are because you don't know about the other storylines going on. And I don't know, it sounds like fairly smart fiction, and it's hard to find smart fiction. And so I'm going to be reading these, and then I'll have to give a paper on it later.
Shut up. No, the cool thing about all of the books, they focus on each one has a particular invention. Mm-hmm. And what she did, she found those are all based on real inventions that were patented in the 19th century. Okay. That she found in, different patent records. So everything, like I think the 4th book is Ganymede, I think. It's about the submersible. They really did try to make a submersible during the Civil War, and it kept, sinking and flooding.
They got one or two to kind of work, and it killed everybody aboard every time they used it, but it did sink a boat or 3.
Yeah, so all of the inventions that are, the focal point of each book, they were based on very real patents that people tried to make work and didn't quite. But in steampunk world, hers, I liked hers because it's American steampunk. It's not based on the Victorian, ideal, and there's a lot of really good female characters in it. So yeah. You got to let me know when you dive into them. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I just pulled up like her body of work.
Oh, she writes a lot. Yeah.
You're going to be reading a while.
Well, the Clockwork Century is she writes a lot, but the Clockwork Century, I think it's 6 books for just that specific series. So, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Good. I like long series.
It's been a long time. Yeah, me too. It's been a long time.
Bone Shaker, Dreadnought, Clementine, Ganymede, Tanglefoot, The Inexplicables, Fiddlehead, Jacaranda. I don't know if I'm pronouncing those correctly.
Some of those, I think Tanglefoot and Jacaranda, I think those are novellas or short stories.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes it a little easier. All right.
Yeah, it cuts out 2 books.
I mean, there's still, it still helps.
I'll read them. It's just, it's not.
They're not part of the main series.
Well,
yeah.
I can read a 350-page book in an evening if I'm really onto it, and I have no interruptions, which is not something that's happened in about 9.5 years. So, between animals and children, and wives, I can't do that now. But I could definitely do it on a Friday when I had nothing better to do.
Same. Yeah. So yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to.
I was trying not to do my accounting homework. One or the other.
I wish I could do that. You guys have a superpower. Reading books quickly.
For me, it was hiding away from the Because when there's a lot going on, and I start to get into the thought spirals, the only thing I can do is read. That's the only thing that takes me out of my thought spirals. Watching TV doesn't do it. I have to have the words. Yeah.
When I can get into it and my brain starts like removing the small words, it's like those little like flicker reels when you like start spinning it up. It's like it's slow and you see each individual thing, but when you speed it up fast enough, it's a moving picture. And I don't actually have to read anymore. My brain just immediately takes over and I can read. And
do you have ADHD, Jack?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I do.
I was gonna say that's it.
And my wife explained some things to me. I'm like, I can hyper focus. And I thought that was a normal thing. I thought focusing was good for people. Apparently,
well, and the power skimming too when you read. That's
that's terrible.
Yeah. I've always done that.
My brain is very much. It's like guessing which word is next. I'm like, I feel like those AIs that are stupid when they're trying to like estimate what you're going to say next, because it's like, it's very much like that moment of we could finish each other's own sandwiches. No, damn it. My brain's just like, it's like I have like a whole bunch of little neurons with like placards and cards, and like I'm looking for that one word. This one little neuron's running from like the back file room, going, "I got it right here. Hold the train that." But
you know, the fun part is that when you reread a book, you find stuff that you didn't catch the first time.
No, I do.
It's
For some reason, I don't mind ever
reading it new all over again,
and over and over and over, because I'm like, oh, it's safe, and I'm always happy with it, and the jokes are just like almost new every time, and I know they're coming too. Like, oh, I know this joke.
Yep.
But
I totally didn't catch that the first 12 times I read this book.
The older I've gotten to, and more life experience that are happening to me, I'm like, I'm understanding this from another flavor of it, angle here.
Awesome. Well,
speaking of that, before I move on, I wanted to ask Dax, what are you talking about this evening? Because I was going to at least mention the fact that if you haven't seen The Sandman on Netflix, you should watch The Sandman on Netflix.
No, I was not going to talk about Sandman because I couldn't make that become steampunk. But yes,
it's so good.
Everybody freaking needs to see it.
It's so good.
Okay, I got 3 more episodes, but yeah, I'm already fully free.
Including the one that was just released last weekend.
I'm trying to think. We met his sister and went through the diner, which was a really interesting one.
That was
that was really well done.
That was
wild. Apparently, I was talking to my good friend on that one, and he's like, they stuck pretty true to the to the book on that. Mm-hmm. A couple characters had it altered, but for the better for TV. Mainly the lady in the car, but oh god, I want to see the rest of it, and I can't.
I still haven't watched the 2 that they just dropped. The cat. I couldn't watch the cat thing.
The 2 that they just dropped are 1 episode.
Yeah,
with 2 stories in it.
Okay.
But they're good stories, and when you're ready, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and watch Good Omens, which is also Neil Gaiman.
Gaiman, I think.
Garman, how you want to pronounce his name?
Neil.
Great guy, Neil. I like Neil. Neil's good. Neil G. Neil G. It's called Kenny.
Yeah, so I was okay.
Go on. I'm sorry.
I'm ready for my report because I can't wait to tell you. Sometimes, like when we're getting ready for their show, we have to like do some research, kind of like look around to see if there's something cool to talk about.
Really? That's the thing we do?
Well, sometimes I do. And then sometimes the thing forces itself upon me. It's like, look at this! Like, wow. This is one of those times. It's one of those weird times. Let me start. This kind of visual, so I'm going to have to verbally describe it. Let's see. Starts with this guy. Has anybody seen this guy before?
CC Rizzini?
CC Pazzini. Yes.
Okay.
So he's this long-haired. He's got a top hat and goggles and a waistcoat and a proper overcoat of many strange colors, and he's got a fantastic mustache.
Pizza.
And I saw this guy in an email ad for CC's Pizza.
They've caught on. It's taken them 10 years, but they've caught on.
CC's Pizza is presenting itself as steampunk now.
Yeah, they're a little behind the.
And at first, I was just like, okay, this is something funny. I'll just mention it, and then I'll actually have a report about something else. But as I dug into it, it just gets more and more interesting. He has his own little flying contraption. And these are a couple of just still shots from the commercial. But yeah, they're definitely trying to be steampunk. His little outfit and his machine. And they've got a little blurb. I'm on his website. It's the curious story of CC Pazzini. And there he is flying over pizza. Why? I don't know.
Macaroni and cheese pizza.
What is happening right now?
I am amazed, horrified, and yet I can't look away.
Let me read the backstory, because he's a character with a backstory.
God.
Of course
Many
he is.
years ago, in a place called Little Italy, the owner of a pizzeria went to open shop one morning and found a teeny tiny basket on his doorstep.
Oh my God.
In that basket was a teeny tiny baby. The man's name was Papa Pazzini, and luckily for the little one, Pop had a really big heart. He took the child in and raised him as his own. Cosmo Colusio, CC for short, grew up working alongside Papa Pazzini in the pizzeria, although he mysteriously never grew more than 4 inches tall. Perhaps because he was so small, he saw the world differently. He was always inventing new pizzas and curious contraptions that let him bounce, wheel, and fly around the kitchen just as fast as Papa. What the heck?
This is like a fever dream. I don't understand.
And this is
way too much of this whiskey.
This is how they segue into CC's Pizza has all these weird pizzas, like macaroni and cheese pizza,
Which
or whatever.
revolting,
Because
but
this diminutive steampunk man is making them for you.
because steampunk is the endless wonder. I have no
No,
idea.
because steampunk is adventure. Whether it's good or not, it's adventure.
Because they hired somebody in marketing that is a steampunk person, and he's like, "Hey, I have a great idea."
We haven't tapped. We have a market we haven't tapped yet.
Okay, so even then, I just thought this was a weird little story that I was going to mention, but it gets deeper.
Oh no!
You see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
If there are any big fans of Walt Disney World listening now, I was not, and so this was new news to me. This character, I'm changing is called the Dream Finder.
This is
a still shot, a photograph from the ride on Disney World of this other guy with a top hat and a long red hair and a beard and goggles and a weird flying machine, and he's in his suit, and he looks an awful lot like CC Pazzini. Or at least that's the argument.
so. Do we have some plagiarism going on?
Wait, is there a lawsuit?
Not that I'm aware of.
No way you'd be able to say he has got a top hat and goggles, or all of a sudden, like 90% of the people I know are now within like.
It is.
suable
I mean,
offenses.
it's Disney, so it's not
But
out of the realm
got
of
a very-
possibility.
Very colorful suit and waistcoat, and he's got his own wacky flying machine. That's not quite the same, but there have been people making parallels to these two. Disney has retired this character,
Okay.
the Dream Finder, but you see this little dragon in the back here. that I've even recognized him, although I didn't know who he was. That character is named Figment, and Marvel put out a comic book in, I think it was 2014, with the same characters, trying to, reintroduce
He's a
the
little more.
Dreamfinder.
He's a little more dashing in the in that picture.
Yeah, he looks younger. It's got a good shave, but these two very similar characters. I found an article on piratesandprincesses.net where I stole some of these pictures. That's making the argument that these two characters look awfully familiar or awfully similar. And that's the part where I went, wow, this is weird. This is super weird. I got to talk about it.
Is CC owned by Disney or Marvel?
That guy looks like
I do not believe there is a ownership connection between CC's Pizza and Walt Disney. I don't think.
Well, if they have any problems to say, I think Burger King should sue that picture right there. That's the same big smile and like mane of hair that the Burger King dude has.
Maybe the Burger King is the Dreamfinder. Maybe Figment became a burger.
And then suddenly one of us gets cut off because we know too much and Disney's taking us out.
and then our show disappears forever. You found the truth. Oh no.
We found the truth.
So you guys don't remember that any of those characters?
No, but I never went to Disney World.
No, I haven't either. It's not really my bag, but I have friends, like real adult grown-up friends who enjoy going to Disney World on the regular.
I love a Disney cartoon. I grew up on them, and I actually for a long time I wanted to do the Disney cruise until I found out that cruises can be a little iffy. But no, I just
I could talk about cruises all night. I've never been on a Disney cruise, but I've been on a few, and I have had a great time.
I have heard that. I have also heard other things about cruises gone wrong. So
I've been on a few cruises, never been on a Disney one. I will admit, I don't know if I'll ever cruise again, at least not for the foreseeable future. Because apparently a lot of them failed a lot of health checks lately, and just like...
Yeah. But no, I don't have anything. I know lots, but a lot of adults that have that Disney's their jam, but I don't know the minutia of Disney. I know the cartoons and that thing I've never seen before ever, and now I'm going to have nightmares. That should knock me out of my thought spirals. Thank you.
Which one, the CC's Pizza commercial or the
whole character? Because he's reminding of that. He's like it's like somebody put a top hat on the king. You just need to put the crown on the top hat, and then he shows up in your bedroom.
There you go.
Thank you, Rita. That's what I was trying not to say.
Well, it has been very difficult. Now we're talking about cruises and how they are floating petri dishes, as Rita says. But they try to be very, very clean, and they do their very best to keep people from getting sick on the boat. But it is very difficult.
Well, it's a closed environment. I mean, it's really easy for something to happen. And as
someone
Americans who's lived with stomach problems, I just, I like the idea of it. Like I said, the Disney cruise ships are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. But I don't know, being trapped with people for that long.
with the pandemic going on, even after they started cruising again, it's been kind of dicey, and I get that. But previous to that, I thought they were very safe as long as you're regularly washing your hands like they tell you to do, and not licking doorknobs.
Well, damn.
I know, right?
It tastes so good.
It's a vacation.
Tell me what I can't do.
I've had a great time. I look forward to cruising again. Not in the near future, but eventually.
Someday.
There's a group of steampunks who go cruising together. The Steampunk Cruise.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
We went on one, and it was awesome getting to meet folks from across the country and Canada, and dressing ridiculous together. And yeah, it was fantastic. I would not want to give up any of that experience. I'm sorry, Jack, that you had a lousy experience. I don't know what happened to you.
Me? Oh well, no. I was just in Argentina, and I was able to almost sell my sister. Wasn't even Argentina. It was Belize, actually.
Do you want to
I love
that up
Belize.
a little bit?
No,
I
literally got off the boat because we didn't actually have any tours at that one. We were just like, we're going to look at this tiny little town. And before, this little town hadn't actually, it was just started as like a port. So it was just flooded with people that would just like rush in on you. And there was like nothing going on if you weren't going to like see the pyramids or anything like that. And like Grandpa took us, and Emily was like, my little sister, she's 3 years younger than I am, so she was like 14. And so like we walk off the boat, and there's two guys with assault rifles on either side of the gated fence to get on and off the boat.
That's the police security.
So we're like, okay, cool, whatever. This is America now. We're used to that already. But so immediately rolled up next to this guy who was just leaning up against a tree going, hey man, how much do you pay for your girlfriend? How much you want for your girlfriend? I'll pay good money.
Did you try to sell
her? Just looked at each other. We're just like, nope. We went back up in the boat. We're like, we're just not getting off here today.
I thought I know that guy.
Okay. I love Belize. We both love Belize. Let me talk about this experience with you. It sounds like this was quite a long time ago that you took this cruise, and I understand that there's, once you get off the ship, like the salespeople, the merchants all like crowd you and get Chicle, Mr. Chicle, like that.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. There was so much negative feedback that Belize passed laws that you're not allowed to harass the tourists anymore, and it's very strongly enforced.
I've been on a couple cruises since then. It was just that one was an interesting experience to go on.
I mean, you didn't try to sell her though. My brother would have been like, "How much?"
We just turned around before any thoughts went through our minds on that one. But
I did have a guy with long dreads tell us that he was a doctor. If we were feeling ill, he could get something that would help us.
Yeah, I bet.
And then he asked Erica if she had a boyfriend or if she was looking for one.
What did she say?
What did you say?
I don't remember.
No, never. Not now. I got a boyfriend. He's right here.
Yeah.
Ganja.
Dr. Ganja. But that was not near the touristy areas. We were like there for a week, and we were cruising out to the island. And we were just having a good time. There was never a time where I didn't feel safe there. They're just they've got a real sense of humor. It's why.
My grandfather, I'm going to say this again. My grandfather, he came from working at Amoco, or BP Amoco, as they got things. He worked for them for like 40 years of his life. So he retired basically when I was a baby. But he wanted to go on a cruise every now and then. And if his girlfriend wasn't around to go, he'd be like, when's your school end, Frank? I'm like, all right, well, gee, Grandpa, May 12th is my last test. All right. He'd set it up. All right, you're flying out that day. Like, what time? Literally like my final's like at 11. I'm flying out at 12. Thanks, Grandpa.
Okay.
But usually what happened with that was was like San Angelo, Texas is a tiny place. So literally I could like take my test in 30 minutes, get in my car and mad dash the 20 minutes to the airport and literally like check in and get on the airplane in like a 3-minute time period because only 50 people are going on this airplane. So I've been in a couple places, and I'll admit my favorite places to go was like Alaska. That one's a great one. Then you kind of have to be on a boat for a lot of that one because they don't really have the greatest interstate for random unknown reasons.
They don't have an interstate at all.
They do. They have, at least when I was there, they had 90 miles of it, and it was all under construction.
Okay, here's what I want to know. Thax, how much is Big Cruise paying you to shill for them?
Honestly, I'm just telling you my experience.
It's the Cruise Industrial Complex.
Like, do you think I'd have literally a sheet hanging up behind me if this was the case? And a
No, I said
poster in my
Thax.
face?
How much is Thax getting paid to shill?
Hey man, I've got some stock. It's not doing so well. I gotta pump it up a little bit.
And
Jack knows what it's about.
And you would have gotten 508 now. Because, preferred
he's
stock.
packing his bag for his next cruise.
I know we've had this conversation about AMC and all that fun stuff. Oh. I mean, there's no steampunk stock, so we don't have a way of...
Yet.
Unless you invest in CC's Pizza.
Shoot.
Well, they declared
That's a marketing campaign.
They declared bankruptcy a few years ago and bought by somebody. So,
I mean, that's how you want to do it. You take all the money, you declare bankruptcy, and they pay you more money, and you get out scot free because you gave all your debt away. It's perfect. Golden parachutes, baby.
Yeah, you might want to delete this recording as soon as it's done.
No, it's completely legal. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to do it, they'd call it arson.
I know nothing. So we're getting up on an hour here. Yes, I want to go over some upcoming events on the calendar before we end the transmission tonight. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, Big River Steampunk Festival is now a week away. So if you're able to get up to Missouri, Big River Steampunk Festival is one of the big national events, I think. I've never been, and I'm not going in a week, but I want to.
People who are usually there. Airship.
Oh. Isabella?
No.
Airship Ashanti?
Metal Rose, I think, is part of that one.
I don't know that one.
We did a box on them a while back, and it's been a while since I talked to them. Hit me up if you hear this. Gotta talk box stuff again.
San Japan is the same weekend. It's 2nd through 4th. So if you're going to San Antonio, you want to see some anime. And then 2 weeks from then, FenCon 10, 15, 18. FenCon 18 is the 16th. Oh, also, Museum Day is September 17th. No matter where you are, you can get free tickets to your local museum. Just call them in advance, say, are you participating in the Museum Day? And you can get free tickets to check out your local museums, which, in my opinion, is a great place to dress up in steampunk.
Yes.
Why not? That's fun.
Yeah?
Sure.
Which museum are we going to go to, Thax?
All of them.
All the museums.
Museum of the Weird.
Austin area.
Museum of the Weird is in Austin. I wonder if they give free tickets.
Did you know there's a zoo in the Bastrop Cedar Park area and Cedar Creek area? Apparently we have otters. It's on the billboard. It says, come feed the otters. And I'm like, that is the best selling point I've ever heard. You know what? That's what I need to do. I just need to buy a billboard that says, buy Steam Chest, feed the otters. I don't know what's wrong with me.
So many things.
Only if I could afford a billboard.
The end of next month, Bernardo Circus is coming to town,
Nice.
which is pretty cool. They're going to be here for like 2 weeks straight. So if you're interested in a small, independent, animal-free circus, Bernardo Circus is going to be here. I think it's pretty cool. Paulino Balloon Festival is end of September. And up in Dallas, the Ocularium, a gathering of villains, is going down at the Hotel Indigo, which is a sort of a LARP experience that's being put together. It's very posh. There are a limited number of tickets, so you need to check them out at madravenproductions.net/the Ocularium. So yeah, I just wanted to go through a few of those before we sign off. You guys know of anything else cool happening in the next month or so?
Fall?
More rain?
Hopefully.
Hopefully autumn happens. I want an autumn.
I mean, everything's already dead, so it's not like we have to wait for the leaves to turn brown.
Like, actually, it's really green here all of a sudden. Like everything that was dead, just like this morning, looked like I was driving through some place that brews really dark beer in like North England. It was so foggy and everything was like blindingly green. It was strange.
Aww. Nature is healing.
All the black spots where grass fires have happened in the last few weeks now have little green, green sprouts coming up.
Yeah, we're growing. All righty, on that note.
Texas Steampunk Connection is brought to you in part by fairtreasures.com. Fair Treasures has a selection of Texas-made female-presenting costumes and accessories for Renaissance fairs and steampunk wear. Also one-of-a-kind jewelry and alchemy jewelry imported from England. And you can shop Fair Treasures at www.fairtreasures.com. That's F-A-I-R-E treasures. Or they're on Etsy. We'd also like to thank our individual Patreons, Jenny and Ryan Shaver, and Rita and Lawrence Allen, for helping us out and helping us keep the lights on our podcast. You can find us on Facebook at Texas Steampunk Connection. You can email us at texassteampunkconnection@gmail.com. Our podcast, if you prefer to listen to us, is texassteampunkconnection.podbean.com. We're on Twitter at TXSteamConnect1 and YouTube and Rumble through the Steam Chest subscription box when Jack gets a chance to post things there. And as usual, our music is brought to you by Zapsplat.com. Facebook is going to cut the music out again because they don't think we own it. But Zapsplat.com has got our backs. So, yeah. Is there anything else you guys would like to make sure to add before we sign off tonight?
Here's to cooler weather.
Yeah, seriously.
Don't drown.
Yeah. We're doing our best.
And thanks for everybody who's joined us tonight. Matt, Rita, and Lawrence, of course. Kitty, I see you there. Thanks, everybody. It's always good to see your comments and allows us to interact with you. Anyway, until 2 weeks from today, mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges.